This hour brought to you by GCNLife.com. Live younger, look younger, feel younger at GCNLife.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Right. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. Right. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, January 12th. As we know, the markets have been real volatile as of late, but the bears have been routed a little bit here in the last couple of weeks after we saw a huge sell-off into the end of the year and a big reversal back to the upside. Many calling for a bear market. Economists are out there talking about the risk of a recession is the highest more than in 6 years. So, a lot of cross currents out there, but, the markets tend to fool us, and when it appears to be the worst, that indeed could be a buying opportunity. Right now we're taking pretty much a trading perspective, but we have a lot of guests on our program. Let me remind you who I am. I am the host of VRTrader.com, a financial newsletter. Many of you may recognize me from many years back as an elf on the old Louis Rukeyser show on PBS, along with working with Paul Kangas on the Nightly Business Report. I've been ranked as a top market timer over the decades. I used to be a trader on the old Chicago Board Options Exchange trading floor, which I guess is still there, but not as active as it used to be. And we do our best to try to stay on top of the markets, both with interesting guests and using our technical work, which is mostly volume-based. That's the VR and VR Trader. Our first guest is with us, and he's very busy during the day trading, so we want to get him back online. We are recording this on Friday, so some of the comments you have to keep in perspective that may change by the time you hear the show Saturday morning. Our good friend Harry Boxer is with us from the techtrader.com. Good morning, Harry. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. What's up?
What's up? Well, the markets are down a little bit on Friday after a huge run, and what's your perspective? Is this the end of the short term?
I'm going to tell you that I'm looking at these gap downs on the morning and then a wedge pattern is developing, and normally I'd say bearish, particularly after the market's been up for a week and near the top of the channel on the third wave. But this market's resilient. Every dip is getting more buying, and what's leading the way today? Marijuana Group, as you know. Big moves.
Right, that's one of my favorite groups. I went through that VR cannabis letter, but I know Harry's been tracking those. CGC has been a terrific standout. We were talking about buying that in the mid-20s when it was looking weak, and sure enough, that was one heck of a buy point.
I actually put a swing on it yesterday at 35 and change, or 36 around there, and then now it's gone up to 40 today. I think the stock, 41 to 46 are my swing targets. I think it may go, believe it or not, sometime this year, I'm looking for that stock to surge into the 60s and 70s. But I also think this is just a gut feel. I think Constellation Brands is going to come in and buy the rest of the company at some point. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I was talking about that months and back, if you remember, but Constellation Brands had some lower earnings forecasts, and they nosedived the stock here in the last couple of weeks. So
but it came right back, and I think the reason is because people are starting to think, marijuana is the new liquor, and if it's Constellation being one of the bigger distributors, may need to really force the issue on the marijuana going forward. So because there's less drinking and more smoking, I guess. something like that. Meanwhile, we have a lot of our swings are working. The market technical patterns are breaking out. Biotechs in particular look awesome, and the marijuana stocks. And we have a bunch of new swing trades out there, too. Look at the move on General Motors today. I'm impressed. The earnings were a blowout. The stock popped and wedged, and now it's running again. It's up almost 3 points today. That's a huge move for GM. And so the automotive stocks, that could be significant because you could get some solid leadership from the market other than marijuana and biotech, of course. And I'm looking for the semiconductors to start perking up again. Apple's down today. Excuse me, but you have and Google's down, and you have some of the Nasdaq generals are down, but other stocks. Netflix is up 13.5. That's outstanding relative strength in that group.
You had a good trade on your service this morning. You're looking to buy best BBBY,
and that's another one. If you take a look at the intraday chart, it's fantastic. And that also had a big report yesterday. We traded it yesterday. We traded it again today. It's ramping up yet again. Today it's up another 8% on 13 million shares.
What about the gold stocks? They look like they may top out a little bit here after a nice run.
I can only tell you there are certain gold stocks I like Kirkland, JL, and Royal Gold, and I like AU, and I like several others, but I just don't see them open yet. And every day they start out strong and something comes in again. I'm not seeing the energy.
Right, well, the dollar seems to have peaked out here, and the gold bulls are saying, well, that's a sign that gold can continue higher. But, so much uncertainty out there with the news, I guess they could still spike. So I don't want to fight the recent uptrend, but they seem to be getting a little tired here, the way I look at it. But no question about it, Harry.
I don't know what's going on with Netflix, but I keep hearing from institutional clients that they think this year Netflix is a takeout by either Disney or Apple. It's interesting the way the stock acts. It's up another 4% or 15 points today. If you look at the chart, it's vertical from 234 to 340. I mean, over 100 points straight up in 2 weeks. So
that's an interesting story because there was conflicting programming coming on the part of Disney, and they said that would be competition for Netflix. So it'd be really funny if they went after Netflix, like you say. So interesting turn of events there. Harry, we have to run, but I want to thank you for joining us. Harry Boxer from TheTechTrader.com. Harry, you still have that free 2-week trial, right?
Absolutely, no credit card necessary, and a free DVD, even if you just sign up for the trial.
Okay, Harry Boxer from TheTechTrader.com. Thank you. Have a great weekend, Harry. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Our good friend Henry Weingarten has agreed to join us on this Saturday morning. Henry, thank you for taking the time. How are you?
My pleasure. Well, everything's pretty good. The markets were sort of up this week as we expected, but they're at the first point, the 24,000 level of the Dow, that you might want to consider the fact there's more risk. I mean, we're pretty sure we'll be going up another 600-800 points this month, but it's not as easy, and obviously there are a lot of outside forces. But we do expect a China victory, which will be probably very short term, but a nice 500-point rally, and I wouldn't really exit much before then, but I'd have some trailing stops. In oil, for example, we go back and forth. We're still on the long side, but at 52 we started to reduce and protect. And we'll do more at 55 and 58 because from our viewpoint it belongs between 52 and 58. Gold looks like it's going to take out 1,300. How high it's going to go, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure in this round we'll get above 1,325. But other than that, it's interesting times. So you either have to be very short-term trading or just don't think about the market and check it every month, although you do want to, in May, definitely really be seriously protected. Other than that, I don't know what else we have to say.
Well, we ran out of time anyway, so it worked out perfectly. We made it short and sweet here. All right, Henry Weingarten, if you want more information, go to afund.com. Henry, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you.
My pleasure. Ciao.
That's Henry Weingarten from afund.com. Now, stay with us, folks. We have Don Villalobos, Sinclair No, and Bill Murphy from GATA, the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, joining us on the program this morning.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back. now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us.
800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. Call right now before it's too late. 800-213-9264.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid rich, full spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise at gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw, this Saturday, the 12th of January. And I want to thank Henry Weingarten and Harry Boxer for taking the time to join us on this Saturday morning. And our good friend Don Violo is with us right now. Don authors two great blogs, equityclock.com and timingthemarket.ca. And it's always a pleasure having him on the show. Don, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me back, Mark.
As a little aside, both Don and I are going to be guest participants in the upcoming World Outlook Conference in Vancouver, British Columbia on February 1st and 2nd. So any of the listeners out there who have interest in hearing both Don, myself, and a whole host of great commentators, including Michael Campbell himself, I would urge you to go to moneytalks.net. That's moneytalks.net, and sign up for the conference. And if you can't be there, you can buy videos of the conference afterwards. But it's always a great fun conference in Vancouver. About 1,500 people show up in the audience, so it's really a great event. So Don will be there, and I'll be looking forward to seeing him and seeing all of you who have time to visit. Don,
yeah, we're looking forward to that. Some background. I've chosen an interesting topic. The topic is 2019, Year of the Commodity. So stay tuned.
Right, there's a lot of action this year, I know, based on the models that you've created. So it should be really, particularly those base metals, I suppose, too, right?
Yes, they're starting to heat up.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the bear. You're calling it the bear market rally, so I guess you're still a little cautious. Let's talk about the market rally.
Yeah, we continue to see the bear market rally in both Canadian and U.S. markets last week. Equity markets are benefiting from the end of tax loss selling in late December, dropping inflation pressures, and anticipation of a trade deal between the U.S. and China. And,
there's also a little bit of talk about the interest rates, whether the Fed's going to raise here in the next few days or not. Where are we on that, in your opinion?
Well, the key is that inflation rates have been coming down in the United States, so there's less pressure for the Fed to increase rates. And they're claiming 2 times for 2019. Probably nothing will happen in that area until the second half of 2019. That's a good scenario for equity prices to move higher.
Right, there was talk that January was a surefire raise on the part of the Fed. So now a little jawboning on the part of Donald Trump and pressure from other sources. So there's a chance they may not raise here in the next few days. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that seems to be the scenario. There's certainly inflation pressures in the month of December showed an actual decline on a month-over-month basis, so no real pressure to increase rates at this time.
Well, the market's going to like that, so I know they're worried about the rate hikes. Let's talk about the U.S. dollar starting to roll over here a little bit.
Yeah, it's been interesting because we've seen the U.S. dollar completed a double top pattern about 2 weeks ago, and it's continued to move lower. Now, that's very important for commodities and commodity equity prices going forward. Historically, they move commodity and commodity equity prices move higher when the U.S. dollar moves lower. In fact, just last week, the best performing equity sectors included energy, oil services, base metals, and forest product stocks, all which are, of course, sensitive to the U.S. dollar. Seasonal influences have appeared earlier than usual this year. Now, normally you start to see the commodity stocks starting to move higher around the middle of December. This year they actually started around the beginning of December. Looks like we're into a really good seasonal trade between now and the end of April.
And it sounds like this is going to be a focus, what we said a few moments ago regarding your presentation in Vancouver. This is right up your alley there.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll give you a lot more information at that conference.
Okay, so fourth quarter earnings starting to pour in. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, we've had a trickle of them coming in during the past week, but next week is the start of the avalanche, so to speak. On average, investors are expecting a 12% year-over-year increase by S&P 500 companies. Notable next week will be reports by the big banks in the United States. Now, some encouraging things happening here. Now, CEOs of companies love to give you good news when releasing fourth quarter earnings reports. And this year, there's good reason to believe that we're going to see some positive guidance coming from a lot of CEOs. But there's some extras coming this year. This year, we have extra good news coming from additional share buybacks and higher dividends.
Will this tie in with a little bit of a market top, you feel, if these earnings come in now and this bear market rally sort of hit a peak around both the non-interest rate hike and the good earnings report? Does that all fit in with a scenario you've created?
Yes, all these things are positive during the next little while, but the key is that they are positive probably until, let's be optimistic, say until the end of the first quarter. After that, there's some concerns about the possibility that we could hear more talk about impeachment of the president, and that, of course, is a down time for a period of time. Now, the case of a bearish rally for equity markets implies upward move now, but a test of the previous lows, which are set in December the 24th, followed by a very important major low, which could be the low for many, many years going forward.
So next week we have December retail sales. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out next week whether or not Santa Claus really did come to markets in both Canada and the United States. December retail sales in the U.S. are released on Wednesday, and they should give us a pretty good idea on how Christmas sales went. Consensus is calling for a strong year-over-year gain of December retail sales.
Don, we only have about 60 seconds here. So the cannabis stocks took off, Canadian cannabis stocks took off here in the last 4 or 5 days. They were sinking. In fact, part of my Vancouver presentation we're going to be doing in February was regarding the cannabis stocks. What are your thoughts there? Really huge up move here in the last few days.
Yeah, one of the things I like to look at in a sector like this is how are they responding to the market in general. In the case of the cannabis stocks, I can't do a seasonality study because we just haven't seen sufficient trading time for those stocks. But on a technical basis, you want to go into securities which are outperforming the market. And during the last almost 2 weeks now, we've seen the cannabis stocks outperform both the TSE Composite and also the S&P 500. That's a good sign that this trend will follow and continue right through until probably until at least the end of the first quarter of this year.
Great. Well, let's hopefully stay strong up to the conference because a lot of investors are certainly interested. Don Violo from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. Thank you, Don. We'll speak to you next week, and, of course, looking forward to seeing you up in Vancouver. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mark.
So, folks, again, stay with us. We're going to have a special guest, Bill Murphy, joining us here after the break, and hopefully we'll reach our good friend Sinclair Nell.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
For USA Radio News, I'm Wendy King. It's now the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The president and Democratic leaders locked in a stalemate over border wall funding. GOP lawmakers are even breaking from the strategy, suggesting they should reopen the government and have the committees work out how they should address the national security concerns separately. Some of them are saying declaring a national emergency will just get stopped in the courts. Lawmakers are passing some relief legislation for the 800,000 federal workers going unpaid.
The bill was just passed, which I will sign in Congress, making sure that everybody's going to be paid immediately upon when this is over.
The union that represents air traffic controllers has filed a lawsuit suing the Trump administration for withholding employees' pay. You're listening to USA Radio News.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All-American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-610-5739. 800-610-5739. That's 800-610-5739. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, the 12th of January, and we really are happy that you took time on a Saturday morning to tune in, and we have a list of very provocative guests for you on the program each week. We want to thank Harry Boxer for joining us, Henry Weingarten, and Don Violo on the program this morning, and we look forward to talking to Sinclair No hopefully in a few minutes. One of our good and regular guests and friends, Bill Murphy, has agreed to join us this Saturday morning. Bill is one of the principals of the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, GATA.org, organized way back in 1998 with the intent of exposing, opposing, and litigating against the collusion to control the price and supply of gold and related financial instruments. And the financial press, unfortunately, really doesn't give GATA the coverage it deserves, and I do my best here and in my letter over the years. And, of course, we all know markets are manipulated. This is nothing new. I've been doing this for 40 years in the markets, and as a floor trader, I saw plenty of that, and many people thought I was crazy writing about it, and then we've seen all the scandals unfold over the years. But this is the nature of the beast. Meanwhile, again, maybe there's more exposure to stock manipulation than there is to what goes on in the precious metals, and this is why we have Bill on the program. Bill, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Well, just recently, questions came out regarding manipulation in the silver market. Apparently, a former trader for J.P. Morgan Chase confessed to manipulating the silver market. I mean, this is no great surprise to you and me, but let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, we've been on that case for 20 years, as you mentioned. And, we realized soon after forming GATA that it wasn't just gold they were rigging, but silver, and they needed to rig silver to keep the price of, gold in check so it didn't get out of whack. And we've been going on it forever, and they kept the price down in the 1470 area till very recently, and now they're stopping it again at 1570, and it's just so obvious. And they have the open interest, which is the amount of longs and shorts on the COMEX, way up to around 240,000 at one point. Now that's come way down, and we're hoping that that's going to be a sign, if it can stay down, that the silver is going to finally get moving again, because when it went to near $50 in 2011, the open interest was about 135,000 all the way up until the very end. And then in regards to this question with Edmonds, it was what they call spoofing, and the real important aspect of his being convicted and going to jail is that he said everyone above him knew what was going on. At the time, there was a woman named Blythe Masters, head of his department, and she went on to something else inside, some kind of blockchain thing or something. Just about the time that his news, which came out of the woodwork, him being convicted, no one was even talking about it. She resigned from the position of where she was at this new operation. So we're hoping that's just the very beginning and tip of the iceberg of what's coming in terms of exposing how nefarious this gold and silver manipulation has been.
One of the problems is many have before now have petitioned the Commodity Futures Trading Commission to look at situations like this, particularly what goes on in the COMEX, and seems to hit a dead end so frequently. It seems to be a political football.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I spoke in front of the CFTC and the Commission in 2010 about exposing this manipulation, what was going on in the markets, and they videotaped it for the Internet, and the only thing that was blocked out was what I had to say.
Wow.
And we've been there several times. We've written, countless times, sent all sorts of information. I know Ted Butler has done the same thing, and they just ignore it or refuse to talk about it. And it's ridiculous. There's no sheriff.
The excuse for the manipulation, even though it's not admitted, is the Gold Reserve Act back in 1934, which was created by the U.S. Treasury's Department Exchange Stabilization Fund. Let's talk a little about that. Most people don't even know that exists.
Well, that's when the gold was confiscated back then, but just as interesting to me, and most importantly, is that it is totally legal from the U.S. government standpoint to rig the markets via the Exchange Stabilization Fund and the Working Group on Financial Markets. They have been given explicit permission to do what they want to do, but of course, if they explain to everybody what they're doing, it defeats the purpose of it, and that's what, and it's just wrong, because then they've got other people, what isn't right and illegal in my opinion, then they have people like this John Edmonds and people trading around it and with what I call this gold cartel is doing. And that's totally illegal because it's all this collusion. And, of course, the Fed and the Treasury do not want to let anyone know what they're doing. As my colleague Chris Powell said, they'd rather release our nuclear secrets than what they're doing in the gold and silver markets. So it's always hush-hush, and no one says a thing. No one will talk about it in the press, as you alluded to earlier. I mean, we send all sorts of stuff to the press. They won't mention it. We don't have a free press in this regard at all. And a lot of it stems with, as you mentioned, way back when they first confiscated gold and gold certificates from the U.S. public.
And then when Nixon took us off the gold standard back in 1971, I believe, that really complicated things because we had more information back then, and then it really became hush-hush.
Well, yeah, and that's led to, what I call this gold cartel, which includes the Fed, the Treasury, bullion banks, foreign governments, the Bank for International Settlements, and they've just gone into this massive rigging operation for reasons. One, in terms of the dollar and to keep interest rates lower than they would be. And quite frankly, gold's a barometer of U.S. financial market health. I mean, that's even sort of what Paul Volcker said. Up is bad, down is good. I mean, if all of a sudden gold was up $150 overnight, you'd have people screaming about what's wrong.
Right. That's really the crux of the whole matter. A big move in gold questions government's legitimacy, economic policy, and they have to suppress it, otherwise it makes them look bad. And of course, there's been a lot of talk about backing the dollar with gold, but you and I know there's not enough gold around to do that. So where do you foresee things heading here, Bill? It's really frustrating.
Oh, it's frustrating. But I think, we've gone through a lot of lousy years. I think they're running lower and lower gradually on physical supply. They're having trouble keeping the price down. It's gone up nicely the past many months, and they had silver under total control till about 2 weeks ago, and they're back at it again now. I mean, gold has just gone up 7 days in a row above 1290, and either the next day or the same day now it's gone right back down below. So there's many reasons for gold and silver to explode, and I think that's what they're going to do this time. They're going to do what they've always done, and then they're finally going to lose control. They're going to be overpowered by events. We started to see a little bit when the fear trade came in, when our stock market was falling apart, which, by the way, talk about rigging. Lunch in the Treasury Secretary comes out and says on one day, on a Sunday, I think it was, he called us, he said he was going to call in the plunge protection team, told the world exactly what he was going to do, hardly anyone even mentioned about it, and certain people did. It lasted 1 day. Now, the stock market's gone straight up. When he told everybody what they're going to do, they had almost no risk because they had all the money in the world behind it, and no one discusses it. You can't see any mention in the mainstream financial market press about the plunge protection team. You have to admit to that 1 day when he told the world what he was going to do.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story. We need to talk about that. That's a working group of financial markets that Ronald Reagan signed into law. Bill, we ran out of time, and I want to give you a quick plug here. GATA.org, GATE.org. They accept donations. They have a great website, and I want you all to go there. Bill, thank you again, and we'll have you back real soon on the program. Bill Murphy from GATA.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Are listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 76280. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 76280. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10 years shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at ReadyToEatBacon.com. ReadyToEatBacon.com.
If you owe money to the IRS, you need to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. It starts with a devastating letter, and if you don't act immediately, you could find yourself having your wages garnished or have a lien placed on your property. But there's a solution. Tax 10,000 can help. Avoid enforced compliance, where these holds on your income and seizure of your home could become a nightmare that just won't end. Call 800-239-9957 now and speak to one of our experts. 800-239-9957 is the number to link you directly to a tax resolution specialist who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, all the forms will be handled for you. All you have to do is make the toll-free call, 800-239-9957. Find out if you qualify and possibly save yourself thousands of dollars, not to mention a lot of headaches. It could be the best call you've made today. That number again, 800-239-9957. The service does not provide tax settlement or legal services. We will refer you to a company that does provide such services. Often the IRS will not agree to any reduction in the amount owed. Not all taxpayers who owe more than $10,000 will qualify for a tax reduction program.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on the Saturday, the 12th of January, 2019. And our good friend Sinclair No has made himself available for us on the Saturday morning. Sinclair, as you know, is the author, creator of the great blog EatTheBankers.com, and has been a financial broadcaster with KFNN 1510 Radio for more than a couple decades. And it's always a pleasure having him on the program. Good morning, Sinclair. Thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
Is a big surprise the next few days the Fed won't raise interest rates, do you think, or are they still going to do it, in your opinion? That's the big story I see besides the China story out there.
Yeah, I think the Federal Reserve has indicated, and Federal Reserve Chair Powell has indicated that he's willing to wait a little bit, have a little bit of patience when it comes to what's going on with interest rates. His official line was going to be patient and watching and waiting and seeing before adjusting interest rates again. Now, that doesn't mean that's the only tool in their tool belt. Of course, they're in the process of quantitative tightening, reducing the size of their balance sheet, letting maturing debt just fall off the books rather than reinvesting it or rolling it over. And that's how they make their balance sheet substantially smaller over time. That also means that they're not buying these securities that they had been buying before when they were doing the rollovers just to maintain a constant figure on the balance sheet. So that takes a big player out of the bond market, if you will. Still, I think we've seen bonds rally a bit lately, and particularly over in the corporate side of things. So I think the Fed can do that. I think they almost have to, because we're getting so many mixed signals about the strength of the economy. Yes, the economy seems strong, but at the same time, there are areas of weakness. Specifically, I'm thinking oil prices and corporate debt are a couple of the major ones there. So I think that they're going to sit back and wait a little bit, wait through the March period anyway, to see how interest rates are looking, to see how the economy has been absorbing the interest rates and any other activities. So I think that we just avoided a March interest rate hike. However, we could still have 2 or 3 in the year.
Do you think jawboning from Donald Trump had anything to do with this?
No, I think it probably was just the opposite. I I think it's a bad idea to try and persuade Federal Reserve to do one thing or another. They tend just as much to dig in their heels as they would anything else. I think they're looking at the data. I think they're looking at a economy that is reasonably strong, but is probably going to be getting weaker. I think they would like to have more tools in their tool belt as far as they'd like to see interest rates higher before they say, enough, we've got enough tools to work with here if there is a downturn. They would like to have more tools. They're probably not going to get them.
What about the potential evoking of a national emergency on the part of Trump? Of course, a lot of federal employees haven't been paid. Do you see any? How do you read that in terms of the markets and the economy right here?
Well, that would be a lawyer employment bill in a way, but I don't know if it's going to get anybody else back to work. Something like that would just basically end up in the courts. So he can try it. And before we even get to the debate over whether it is a real emergency or a manufactured emergency or just what it is, it's going to end up in courts, and the courts will decide.
Okay. Well, what I read, the law's on his side, but it's always easy to file a suit, that's for sure. There's a lot of history for the national emergency being evoked by presidents, so I was going to go over that today if we had time, but we have other things to talk about. Meanwhile, economists pretty much... And
there have been a lot of issues where the national emergency has been invoked. The question is it appropriate? And remember, you give it to one president, that's a precedent for other presidents. So is this what you really want? Do you want to be able to invoke a national emergency, and then the next president that comes along maybe invokes a national emergency over health care, over student loan debt, over, I don't know, take your pick. It's not necessarily the separation of powers that we've all thought of. It's an area that I think needs to be tread lightly.
Well, anyway, there's been a lot of incidences in the past here, and not to go all over them, but we had Nixon declare national emergency to break a postal strike, for example. We had Woodrow Wilson declare emergency related to shipping, in an attempt to increase the country's ability to transport food and raw materials by water. I mean, you can say these were inconsequential events compared to a wall too. So, I think as long as the power exists, they're free to use it, and we can question it, of course. I wonder if those were challenged back then. I don't think they were challenged. I think it depends on the political opposition. But meanwhile,
just as a side note, I knew someone who was in the National Guard at the time of the postal strike under Nixon.
Oh, okay.
The National Guard was called in to man the post offices, if you will.
Okay.
That was considered active duty, and this fellow then. As he didn't do anything else in the National Guard that I heard him talk of, but he did serve in a post office in Long Island, I believe it was, and for that he received active duty status. That changed a lot of his VA benefits over the years. So I know at least one person who was extremely happy that Nixon called in the National Guard to take care of the mail.
Okay. Maybe we'll have some positive result. It appears that that's going to be happening. That's why I'm discussing it with you this morning. It appears this is the only way Donald Trump will get the wall and the border security dealt with.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen any other way. I agree with you on that.
Right. So, listen, the positive side is it could create a lot of jobs, too. That's a lot of money that could be spent. Maybe the cement companies, steel companies would benefit, security companies, all kinds of high-tech companies would get involved. It seems to me that's $5 billion into the economy and create some jobs. So that's sort of the good news, I think. It's another infrastructure project. Why we need a lot more of those, Sinclair. We need roads and bridges and a lot of good stuff. That's just the tip of the iceberg,
Well, roads and bridges, that would be considered actual infrastructure that's going to pay you back over time. It's going to improve productivity substantially when you do things like that. I'm not sure that this qualifies as infrastructure, though.
Okay. So
I'm not sure what it qualifies as, quite frankly.
Okay. I know there's a lot of dissenting views. Both Sinclair and I live in Arizona, and we do have a problem at the southern border down here, particularly if you talk to the ranchers down there and a lot of people along the border who, you know, pretty vocal about more protection, you know, whether the wall or the steel fence or, you know, drones or whatever is needed is, you know, finance. Something needs to be done down there. People are losing their lives. Meanwhile, in Sinclair, we just, you know, only have a few seconds here. Economists are pretty much saying, you know, they're looking for a recession now. The bottom line is, have we entered a bear market?
We did enter a bear market, and I don't think that we can say that we're substantially out of that bear market yet. Question is whether we're in a recession. I don't see it yet. I haven't seen the downturn in economic growth. I haven't seen contraction, which is, you know, how we measure a recession, a couple of quarters of economic contraction. We haven't seen it yet. Are we slowing down from the very rapid pace that we saw last year and the year before? Yeah, I think we are. Does that mean that we could enter into a recession? We're close, but I wouldn't say that we're there yet. It's something to keep your eyes open for the coming year.
Sinclair, thank you for joining us. Sinclair No from eatthebankers.com. Have a great weekend, Sinclair. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And each week we close our show as our old friend Ed Hart used to do on the Financial News Network decades ago when he said, as we say, we will know in the fullness of time.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Out, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.